everybody, Brittany and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And today's topic is all about how to make friends with your fear. Fear is an inevitable thing, and so instead of pushing it away or blocking it out, we're going to teach you how to become besties with that energy and how you can turn fear into the fuel and fire to keep going after your dreams. So today's topic is one that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. I feel like I hear all the time and see people saying, if I could only do this. So I want to ask you right away, if you were fearless, what is that dream you would chase? If there were no fear in the way, stopping you from taking that next step towards the dream that lights you up, something that you've been imagining in your mind, something that has been bubbling in your soul, what is that dream for you? Because that, my friend, is why you're here. And fear is just, it's really just an illusion. So as we begin to notice that, it becomes easier for us to say, okay, you're coming along with me, fear, and we're going to do this together.
Yeah, the deal is that fear is always going to come up, especially as you do things new and especially as you do things that are uncomfortable, new things, right? And no matter how good you get at something, a lot of times that's still going to come up, still going to be there. So
Adele still has fear. She
right.
pukes on stage, backstage, because she's so nervous. And she's a phenomenal singer. I mean, nobody out there is like, oh, Adele, she's no good. But she still has fear. So the best of the best still get fear, still have fear arise. So we just have to learn how to cope with it when it does come up.
Yeah, a lot of us think that if we avoid fear, then that'll be okay. We can just avoid it and we'll just push it off. And, I just won't do those things. And the problem is that a lot of times, you get propelled toward those things. You're saying, hey, this is really what I need to do in my life. This is what I'm called to do. This is what this takes all of my talents and allows me to serve the world in a really unique way. And then that fear comes up. The fear is like, what if I'm not good enough? What if people say things about me?
Fear is just another name for your inner critic because it's both an imagination. It's both an illusion that you're creating in your own mind because it's not actually happening in reality.
Yeah, the fear is something that you're self-creating. And so what you have to do is stop replaying the movie of fear. So what happens is we get into a situation we've never been in, and then we all of a sudden create something in the future, and we create worry. And so we take a big picture in our imagination, and we replay this movie, and then we replay it, and we replay it. And what you're really doing...
And we make it bigger and brighter
sure.
and more energized and more fuel to that imagination, to that picture. And it makes it become real because you're, like Chris has said many times, your imagination, your mind doesn't know the difference between what is imagined and what is actually happening in reality. So as you imagine this scenario in which you're failing or not performing to your best standard, that's your own inner critic creating this image of oh, this is what could happen.
Yeah, and so what you're really doing is you're mentally rehearsing failure. And so that old basketball story where they took, multiple people playing basketball, one team shot free throws and practiced them, and then the next group didn't practice them physically, but they practiced them in their mind, and the improvement was about the same. And so if you continuously replay this movie, you're practicing, you're telling your mind, hey, this is really what I want to have happen.
This is the role I'm going to play in the world.
This is it, guys. I'm showing you what I want, so make this happen for me. And that's what we talk about when we talk about manifestation. And so you're manifesting the things that you don't want. So all you really need to do...
By focusing on the images of you failing or of what you're worrying about.
Yeah, so
what needs to happen is instead of using your powerful imagination to manifest what you don't want, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to draw it to you. You're going to go through the experience. You're going to be like, I knew that would happen. And you're right, because you imagined it. You saw it, you created it, you felt it, and you magnetized it to you. Now I invite you to try the opposite. Try picturing yourself fully shining, coming out into the world as your most vibrant, brilliant self, doing those great things, sharing your passions and your creativity. When you start to imagine that scenario in your mind and you replay that on repeat, guess what? Just as you've manifested the bullshit and the learning lessons, you're going to manifest exactly what you're dreaming of. So try it out, because I don't know about you, but the other way didn't really work well for me. It taught me the lessons I needed to know about how powerful we are of creators and manifestors, and how law of attraction is truly working like in action behind the scenes. That now when we focus our mind on what it is we want to achieve, fear is riding in the back seat. It's not in the front view. You're not like, oh, all I can see is the fear of me failing. You put it in the back seat going, yeah, if I fall down, I know that I'll have the wisdom to get back up and not do that mistake again.
Yeah, and the deal is, that's a great way to deal with fear, but also you want to be comfortable with sucking at things. Like, that's totally fine. It's totally fine that you're not going to be good the first time at new stuff. And when you get to a place where you're like, it doesn't really matter how it ends up happening, then you're able to shift that perception. So you want to build up the great image instead of worrying about, instead of manifesting crappy stuff. You want to build a really big, bright image of you succeeding. And then if for some reason that doesn't happen, that's okay too. At least you didn't worry the whole time and spend all this time, because all of that worry didn't make you better.
Moving through that experience. I just want to say hello to everyone who's here. So many beautiful faces joining us every Friday. Thank you so much. Yes, Anne, it is a mistake, not a mistake. It's not to be dreaded. Like, when you dread life, that's what you focus on expands. Then you'll create more of those scenarios where you begin to feel that feeling. But if you just relax in life, knowing that everything that's already happened to you, you've handled, you've made it. Like, you're here watching Elevated Life, so you're still alive and you're stronger and wiser because of it. So if you just drop the fear of the unknown, knowing that every single moment of your life has been unknown, then it becomes easier to be present, to stay focused in the here and now, and to see the gifts and the opportunities that are available, instead of forward pacing and allowing fear to cloud your future. So thank you so much for everyone joining us. Hello, Anne. Hello, Erica. Hello, Catherine. Hello, everybody. Oh, I just am so excited to join you guys. I love having these deep conversations, because I feel too often when I meet a new person, the first question I ask is, what are you passionate about? I don't give a crap about your job unless it is what you're passionate about, but it seems too often than not, it's not the same thing. So I just go straight to the thing that's most important and ask, what are you passionate about? And does that align with what you do in the world? So this is a call to look at what you're doing in the world, and is fear stopping you from taking action into the direction of what you're yearning for inside? And if so, what is that fear? I want you to look at it right now. Take a cold, hard look and say, hey, fear, that fear that has been clouding your mind.
The boogeyman.
Look at it right now. Turn your awareness to it and say, okay, here is the fear that I feel in my body. Notice where it resides. Is it in your mind? Is it in your shoulder, your heart, your belly? Where does that fear feel? Like, where do you feel that fear in your body? Look at it. Notice it. Because the more you shine your awareness on it, the smaller it becomes. Because it's like, oh no, I've been busted. And because it's not based in truth, and it's not based in love and reality, it disappears. So have the courage to take a look.
Nice. There you go. I mean, there's nothing else for me to say after that.
Drop the mic.
Right? Yeah, beautiful.
Seriously.
Just don't be mired in your fear. Change how you see the pictures and push forward despite the fear that you feel. And the more often times you do it, the faster that you're able to be aware of it, and the faster
you notice it, you're like, oh, hey, fear, what's up? Come on now, let's do this.
It becomes not a big deal. And so the fear's going to come up and you're going to be like, I can handle it. And if for some reason, if it doesn't work out, I'm okay with that too. I didn't have the success when I started. I don't really care about the success along the way anyways. I'm just going to keep doing it despite whatever might happen.
Katie says fear is a paper tiger.
So true.
And once you recognize that, once you fully grasp the perspective that all fear is false evidence appearing real. I know it's so cheesy, but when you grasp the concept, you're like, hello, I've been making it up the whole time. And before we close off for today, I'm going to share one quick story of how I know for sure that fear is imagined. For our 1-year wedding anniversary, I surprised Chris with a bungee jumping experience in Whistler, Canada. Now, he had no idea. I just booked it on a whim, and I was so pumped about it. I was so excited. We drove all the way we flew, we drove, we got there, and the second we stepped on the bridge that connected 2 mountains over a river, fear just flooded in, and I was shaking, and I peed a little, and I was just like, oh my God, we're about to jump off this thing? Like, are we crazy?
Yes.
And I read stories on their billboard or on their bulletin board that said a 3-year-old has jumped, a pug has jumped, and a 100-year-old lady has jumped. So I was like, okay, get it together. I can do this. And I'm gripping onto the railing. Now I can see why the paint has worn off on that spot, because I was holding it, sweating, peeing, and like crying inside. I looked back at Chris with terror. I could feel the terror in my face going, I don't want to do this. I changed my mind. And of course, Chris is like, go ahead, you can do this. You're first.
Yeah.
And I was holding on for dear life. And the guy says, 3, 2, 1. And I'm not kidding. He pushed me off. Like, we have photos, pushed me off because I was not letting go. I'm so glad he did, because the second my feet left the platform, fear disappeared. I was in the moment. I wasn't projecting that I would fall off the rope or get wrapped up in it or hit the water, although he didn't help when he said, if the rope snaps, swim to your left, and then pushes me. I'm like, what? But the second my feet left the platform, I was in the moment. I wasn't in my mind. And that's when I realized I was projecting all these worries of what could go wrong, how it was going to be a disaster. And I wasn't focusing on the fact that it's safe, I'll be fine, 100-year-old lady's done it, a pug has done it, like I can do this. So know that fear disappears when you take action and you step into the current moment fully alive and with that clear decision and willingness that you're going that way, that you're making your dreams happen.
And you heard the method. She said what the guy did, and this is an excellent way to overcome fear quickly. And so it's 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh,
and so
fun.
When you do, it's not 3, 2, 1. Let's think about it some more. Let's make more pictures in our head. Let's worry about it for a while. That method doesn't work. So it's 3, 2, 1, and just do it anyways. And that's exactly. She was kind of forced to do it, but that's exactly what we need sometimes, is someone just to kind of push us off the ledge a little bit and go. And then you realize, oh man, I could have done this. I was just making crap up in my head. I just made stupid images, and then I felt bad about the bad images that I was making. It's just learning to use your imagination correctly. You don't have to do a bunch of other stuff. It's not just like, well, one day I'll be able to do it correctly. No. You just need to use your imagination, just picture new pictures, and just do it.
Oh, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Let this be the nudge that you've been looking for outside of your comfort zone. Let us help you to push just 1 foot outside of your circle, because that is where the magic happens. It is mundane in your inner comfort zone. So step outside to find the magic.
And it doesn't, you don't have to be bungee jumping to do this.
Oh God, no. But that was a quick learning lesson.
It might be a phone call that you need to make. It might be a conversation that you need to have. It may be talking to somebody, or, reading something, or, just if it takes bungee jumping, maybe that's what you need to do. But you can just do small things. A lot of people have fear just over making a telephone call. Like, just pick the phone up and start dialing. No matter what the other person is going to do on the other end, you can always hang up. So just be ready to move forward.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
You can do this. Whatever fear arises, just have the courage to look that fear in the face and say, oh, no, thank you. Like, bye, Felicia. Get on in the back seat. We're going anyway, because my dreams are bigger than this imagined BS. So go after your dreams. 3, 2, 1, go. Don't wait any longer. The world needs that passion and that fire that you have to give. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on The Elevated Life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see you next Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And as always, we're here to answer your questions. So leave them in the comments below so that we can cover the topics you want to hear. So I will see you guys next week, and thank you so much for joining us. We love you so much, and we're so proud of each and every single one of you. Because you're here and you've shown up to listen, to tune in, I know that you're making a commitment to yourself to shine bright and to release those fears that have been holding you back. You have a beautiful gift to share, so go out there and share it. Boom. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. Love you guys.